Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me on my podcast, Swiping Over 40, Online Dating for Mature Women. So all you ladies over 40 years old that are looking for love the first time around, or maybe it's the second or third time around, join in on our podcast as I interview all different types of men from all walks of life who give advice on dating, how to navigate the internet dating process, things that men are looking for. We share stories, looking really forward to sharing all this valuable information with you and helping you find love the first, second, or even third time around. We are currently in the midst of our online dating series. How women, ladies over 40, how do you find love navigating this online dating process? I know it's new to a lot of us, and I have several guest speakers, and today we have Mark Worster.
AKA Nurse Mark.
AKA Nurse Mark. So Mark is going to give us a man's perspective on several different topics today. Mark, would you like to introduce yourself? Tell us, the audience or the viewers, listeners, a little bit about yourself.
Oh my gosh. No, that's my favorite subject. I could talk about me for hours on end. So I'll just give you the brief synopsis. I'm 58. I've been divorced for 10 years. In that 10-year span of time, I've been engaged twice, and I have extensive experience in online dating.
Well, Mark, thank you for coming to the show. Welcome. You're exactly what we're looking for tonight for the ladies that are tuning in, and the men.
Finally.
I know, we're looking forward to this, yes, for sure. We're just trying to schedule our, around our busy schedules. Mm-hmm. I'm going to start with the topic. The first topic we're going to talk about today is how does a woman make it to the first date or the first meet? And I don't want to say make it like they have to, jump for the bouquet like they're at a wedding. Yeah, what I mean is there's so many women and so many men online, and we can swipe, we can be on multiple sites at the same time. What makes you as a man, or most men that decide to move it forward and actually ask that woman out?
Boy, it is, it's hard. Most of the guys I know, I'm going to be honest with you, most of the guys I know are going to swipe right on a pretty girl. If your photos look good and represent who you are, it's totally going to be on that first. I don't know if the visual thing is, sort of the first thing that happens, right? You look, you see a picture, you say, wow, I'm sort of attracted. And it doesn't matter. I'm not saying that someone needs to be a supermodel, because I'm certainly not a supermodel myself, right? It's not that. It's just that you see the picture and it captures you in some way. Like you are immediately like, oh yeah, definitely. Like I can tell you without a doubt who I would swipe right on every single time and who I would not. And it's usually based on that picture. Some pictures, you see right away and you say, oh, no, and it's not that they're unattractive. It's that it's dark, or, the photo quality's dark, or it's out of focus, or it's like there was just no attention to detail, right? It's just the best you're going to put up online. Probably going to swipe left.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good information. Meaning like they put the woman put no effort from your observation.
I don't know, but like you said, there's so many people online, and there's for better or worse, there's a lot of opportunity to just connect with people, which is the positive thing. The negative side of that is there's a lot of people you can connect with, so you pretty much arbitrarily either right or left based on something as minuscule as how the photo looks. You know what I mean? That's the first thing that you get to, right? Is the photo. It's not like you get to know them. It's not speed dating face to face where you sit with a person and get to know them in 2 minutes, which is always a fun time. But so the photo is the first thing that anybody sees. It should be a good one.
Yeah, and I've heard that across the board. If you don't catch the eye on the first photo, they're going to swipe left or just move on. Now, once you swipe right on that photo, there are usually several photos. What are you looking for in those several photos? What would you like?
Smile. I never swipe right on a girl who isn't smiling in the picture, because I'm like, if this is the happiest you are, like you're trying to attract somebody and you're not even enthusiastically happy about it, I'm not going to even go down that road. So it's something so stupid and silly. But if someone's not smiling in a picture, I feel like they're not going to be smiling when I meet them.
Yeah. Well, it's all you get is that visual.
Yeah.
You get that picture. You don't know, and you may be the happiest person, men or women.
That's the thing.
You chose the wrong picture to put on your profile.
Right.
Now, once you swipe, so you say you look for pictures that are smiling, and a lot of men want full body shots.
It's a game, right? So you look at the photos, and if you don't see any body shot at all, you immediately assume as a guy, just gonna, this is all about full honesty, right? As a guy, if you don't see a body shot, at least somewhat of one, right? I'm not saying even the one where that someone's standing in front of a mirror just to confirm that they are, a certain weight or size or whatever. You know what I mean? A lot of people do that, where it's almost like weird because it's like they're trying to confirm that they look good or whatever. But just any body shot, if there is only face shots, that's like an immediate red flag that someone's hiding something, or that they're not happy with themselves. I think it's more that they're not happy with themselves. I mean, it doesn't matter to me what somebody's body composition is, right? If they're smiling and they're happy and they're not afraid to show what they look like, then hell yeah, I'll swipe right.
So yeah, and I've heard that across the board from men, the majority of them. They say the same thing. If a woman is not having a full body shot, and again, we're not talking nudes or selfies in the mirror, we're talking
no, not at all.
You're on a hike, or maybe standing with some friends or something where they can actually see your stature. And again, it's not about is it a deal breaker if someone's a little bit larger?
It's like for the girls, it's not a body shot of a guy who's showing his 6-pack abs, It's like, it's not that. Like, it's just who are you? What do you look like?
And are you confident in yourself? Because I think
that's the thing for me. It's more that you're confident and happy with yourself as a human being, and you're not ashamed, of who you are.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's really important also. Again, ladies, just keep that in mind when you're creating your online profiles. And the other thing that I wanted to ask you about is with you posting your pictures. I see men that have posted, they post with their dogs, they post with their car, they post with their shirt off, they post hanging from an airplane, hanging from a cliff, all kinds of pictures. So, I feel like, okay, I might pass on some of those because that's a little bit much, for me. I don't think I'm going to be hanging from any airplanes or anything. Maybe you did it once, and you're trying to show, I'm an alpha male. I do this.
Yeah. Or you didn't mention the one that I always hear the girls say that they just can't stand is the fish photo. It's a guy holding this huge fish, like it's a trophy. Hey,
yes. Oh my gosh,
I caught a big fish. You should go out with me because I'm
dirty
smart.
On a boat.
Fish.
Be a hunter. Well, the thing is, let me ask you this question. For our viewers, do you feel that it's the same with women? Are you looking for the woman that's volunteering, protesting at the top of a mountain, on the ski slopes, in the middle of the ocean? Is that attractive to you, or only if it's her real life?
Well, you know what? It's helpful. It's helpful. I'll tell you, because if I see a ski photo in the picture, I'm not going down that road because I'm not going skiing. I suck at skiing and it's not something I like to do. And if somebody likes to ski, inevitably they want me to go skiing. And I'm like, hell no, not going to happen. I'll go and keep the fire going in the lodge and make sure everybody's got a cocktail. I'm not getting on skis because I just suck at it. I know it and I'm not going to do it. Right. So that's one thing if I see that sort of photo in there.
I think it's really,
other than that, diversity, man. If somebody's carrying a protest sign, cool, great. Yeah.
I'm just giving examples that I can think of.
Yeah. But you scan the pictures and you look and you say, okay, you can tell from the photos, you really don't know who someone is, but of course you look at photos and you try to create this mental image of who you think they might be, right?
Right.
And so, it's usually a comparison to people in your past, and you look and you say, okay, well, her hair's done really, really well, and her makeup's really well, and she's wearing a lot of jewelry. So, perhaps high maintenance, maybe. Or, wearing boots in the, shoveling horse shit at the farm. I mean, so you can tell how somebody is from the photos, right? Not that either one of those things, I'd swipe right on both those, but I'd know up front what I'm probably going to have discussion about. You know what I mean?
Well, do you think it's important for women to be honest about their photos? If you're only picking 3 or 4 photos, pick them of something that you do on a regular basis. And what I'm thinking, and the men that I've interviewed, he says, she says from my book, Dating in a Fast Food World, that you only have those few photos. So maybe some woman has only gone skiing once in her life and she thought it was really cool. So she picked that picture when you could have been a perfect match, but you swiped her up. So be really true to yourself. And
that's the thing, right? Be true to yourself. The stuff you really like to do, photos of you doing that, that's great. Because, you don't want to, honestly, you don't want to waste time if you don't have just that initial compatibility of things that you like to do, right?
Yeah, and then it's next. I'll find the one that doesn't ski, even if she didn't ski. Now, once you get past the picture stage, okay?
Yeah.
Now, because men are very visual, women are visual too. They might not look at as many pictures, but they usually, I would say, they do when it comes to online dating. Now you've gotten past the pictures, profiles. Yeah. Some people write nothing in their profile. Some people write just shy of a book in their profile, and then there's everything in between. Tell me what thoughts go through your mind when you read these different profiles. What are you looking at? How do you feel about
if there's nothing in the profile? If there's nothing in the profile, then she better be really good looking, because that's all I got to go on, right? So do you know what I mean? Like the profile is important, like to get a sense of kind of just, who they are in just a few sentences. I mean, it's hard because it's just a few sentences, but you can get a flavor of how somebody is, right? I mean, I've read some I've read some great little blurbs on somebody's profile where it's like, oh, I would love to go out on a date with this person, more than the picture, right? So the profile for me was super attractive.
You have an example?
For me, they're intelligent. They've got a sense of humor, like there's a little sarcasm in it. For me, that's really important that somebody has a sense of humor. So if they're joking around in their profile and kind of poking fun at online dating or something that's going on, then that's attractive to me. And I will definitely, just more so than the pictures, believe it or not.
So I've always had this thought that if somebody puts nothing in their profile, they're really just looking for a hookup.
I never knew that. Boy, I would have been swiping right, Kath. My gosh. Oh, holy cow. Wait a minute. Where's my pen? I'm going to make a note. Okay. Nothing in the profile. Simply a hookup. Hey, thanks. Well, this has been worthwhile already.
There you
go.
All
right.
I'm giving away the secrets, ladies. These men need
Hold on. I'm going to open up Bumble right now and see if I can find somebody with no Nah.
Well, I think
busy tonight.
Why would you just put a picture, and nothing else. And obviously you
got nothing to go on.
Swipe or not swipe. We're attracted or you're not. Let's call and let's get it on.
It's like sending a blank sheet to a job resume, you do a job interview, online application. It's a blank piece of paper. I don't know. You fill it in. I'll be whatever you want.
I'll be whatever you want tonight.
What the heck?
So now
I know. Or, I'm just too lazy to fill it out. I don't really care. Maybe somebody will swipe. Maybe they won't, whatever.
Well, that's the other thing. Or maybe they meant to do it later. They were busy and they got on and, I've done that. I put a picture or two. I'll get back to that later. I'll figure it out. Maybe I never got back to it because I forgot I went on there.
I had a one sentence profile for the longest time. I had nothing on there. And I just, it was because I was lazy, because I didn't want to do it. That's the thing. So for the ladies, the guys find, I don't know if the ladies do, but the guys find it super difficult to create a profile. Like, just don't have a clue how to do it. Like, I coach guys because I have such extensive experience. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm not sure yet, but I've had some great relationships. Anyway, I am coaching guys on how to set up their profile because they want to meet somebody and they're legit. I'm telling you, ladies, they're legit looking for a relationship and not a hookup. Like, I don't know about you, but you get into your 50s. I mean, you've had enough hookups now, and perhaps you'd like to have a relationship. I think.
Yeah, kind of go through that last leg of life.
The guys I know,
Yeah, no, definitely. And it's funny, Mark and I, we have so much in common. And I, a dating coach, life coach, health and wellness coach as well.
Yeah,
and I do help ladies set up the profile, set up their pictures, so they do it. Let's do it. If you want to do it, do it. And say what you mean and mean what you say. Be who you are, because that's your stance. And if you have 100 men look at your profile and only 2 swipe right because you're being true to yourself, then I'd rather have those 2 than go through.
Oh, those 2 are quality.
That time. So
yeah, those 2 are quality. Would you rather have that or waste all your time with 10 or 20 just awful dates?
Oh, okay.
You have nothing to talk about.
We're going to talk about some of those scenarios. Keep that a little tab on your mind. So we're going to bring some of those up. But you know what I want to talk to you now? Now you've swiped right. You've checked out the picture. She's got a full body shot. She's smiling. Yeah. She said something sarcastic or something that appealed to you.
Something
and now
really sarcastic. I mean, a lot of times, what I'm seeing now is what's the term that's new this year? Oh, sapiosexual. I had to look it up. I saw sapiosexual. I said, I'm a homo sapien, sapio.
That's been around for a while, Mark.
I have not seen it. Kathlyn, I have not seen that. So this was new to me. I had to look it up. And when I looked it up, I said, oh.
Tell the ladies what sapiosexual.
I'm sapiosexual. There, perfect. Okay, I've got another label. Yay, another label. Great.
Well, share with the ladies what sapiosexual means in case they don't know.
That they're attracted to intelligent people, intellectually stimulated.
Right.
In other words, you're not going to go out with a dumbass. That's basically it.
Everybody has a different. You say you're a sapiosexual. I'm a sapiosexual. That's like
That's a brain. You may not be. You may want a simple person who's not going to clog up your life with a lot of intellectual conversations. Hey, everybody's got their thing. More power to you.
Again, it's about being honest. But now we're talking about
personal preference. Yeah.
Yes, sorry to interrupt you. Personal.
No, I'm sorry. Let's just.
It's okay. Like there's always the delay with these Zooms, and so now you've gotten that far. Now you're like, okay, so I want to reach out to her. She hasn't reached out to you yet.
Yep.
What do you have a line? What do you say?
There is nothing. I mean, it's just like hi, hello, and you start the chat. Like before. There was a definite flow to how it went. You would chat on the app for a period of time. Then you would move to texting on your cell phone numbers. You share cell phone numbers. It's like a protocol, a list of how you do this. And then the next thing after texting would be to meet face-to-face. Well, the pandemic, that face-to-face meeting went away. And was, replaced with maybe a Zoom meeting, or maybe you just chat endlessly, and that's, purgatory, really.
Why is that purgatory, chatting endlessly?
Because you want to move to the next level. If you're interested in somebody, you want to, meet them and see them and interact with them live, face to face.
So you said it doesn't matter, but the conversation, you'll reach out to somebody. What if somebody that you haven't swiped on, or maybe you haven't even seen them yet, or maybe you have and you didn't swipe right, or maybe it's not even a swiping site, maybe it's something more traditional, and a woman sends a message to you. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about a smiley face or a mere hello versus a more lengthy message or a compliment? Which catches your eye more, would you say?
A compliment's always nice, isn't it? Don't we all like to be complimented? That's always nice.
I like your smile. Oh,
I like your smile. Hey, handsome.
Fish.
What's up? Right. Oh, hey, nice fish. Great fish. That fish is why I'm contacting you. By the way, that's never happened.
Great.
I may have had a fish photo years ago. Huh? Years ago, when I first started online dating, I did have a fish photo. So that never happened to me. I never got complimented on my fishing skills.
So you would say a nice compliment, something genuine.
A compliment's always nice.
Really friendly eyes.
Everybody likes to be complimented. Yeah.
I have to say, I think you're right. And I used to just do a smiley face or a hello because, I'm not going to go in depth. It's basically you're interested or you're not.
Right.
However, I don't think it's wrong. If I see something that I like, perhaps maybe their eyes look really kind. You've got really friendly, inviting eyes, very friendly.
Right.
And just say it. And if they don't reach out, don't take it personal. And this is what happens all the time. It's not personal. You don't know what somebody's looking for.
No, there are so many variables. And at the end of the day, when we meet somebody new or we look at somebody new, we're automatically comparing them to everybody else we've ever been in a relationship with. So it's like they're almost doomed from the start. You know what I mean? Because
the women, comparing.
You compare anybody. When they meet somebody, they're going to compare them to, subconsciously, they're going to just compare them to everybody they've ever dated. They look like somebody that they were really attracted to in the past. Well, boom, they're maybe a little more attracted to that person. But anyway, you're right. You can't take it personally. And it was hard. I remember there were times, after some, maybe after you're just out of a relationship and you're going to start online dating again, you're a little bit raw, right? You get back in the fray and you don't get responses back, or somebody, you start a conversation, then they ghost you. You take that stuff hard, right? You take it personally because you're in that raw space. Right. But the bottom line is it's fun and can be really enjoyable, and you can meet some really nice people. And you could meet the one. I know people who've met, Tinder is known as a hookup site. I know a few people who met and are married after meeting on Tinder.
Okay, so Mark, every site is a hookup site, and every site you can find love. I believe that.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Some have more of a reputation of a hookup site, but you're right. We're sexual creatures, so that's going to be in the mix. But I think some people are more like, if somebody signs up for eHarmony and goes through all of that intake stuff that you have to go through to figure out what you're right, or remember chemistry.com was one, or, you had a lot of upfront work to do to figure out who your perfect match was. Less of a hookup site, but still a hookup site.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, definitely. And so I encourage the ladies to maybe check out a couple, do a swipe site and a legitimate site. So there are things like Match.com, or
that's really great people on Match.
Great, a site with a large database that has a variety of ages. There are things for those over 50, like Our Time, that's similar to Match, but for over 50. Yeah. But also do a swipe site, like a Bumble or Coffee Meets Bagel or a site like that where they can swipe. They can do it two ways. I encourage women.
Hinge is
to
another
sign up
one
for
that
Elite
I've.
too.
Have you used Hinge? I'm sorry, Kath.
Oh, actually, I have not used Hinge.
I haven't either,
Believe it or
but I
not, I
heard
haven't.
that's the next thing.
When I went out these sites. I'm just kidding. So no, I have not yet used Hinge. I've heard about it. I've also heard of another one where you have to get approved, and it's professionals who are in things like they're speakers and they're authors and they're actors and they're musicians.
Yes.
And there's another one like that, that I've heard about. So there's such a variety, and they go from, you can get based on your religion, based on certain hobbies, based on your sexual preferences, and based on not. So all those different things. I know OkCupid is one of those that goes really into detail over your preferences, and your I don't know if you've been on it, but it goes about 15.
You know what? I haven't been on it for years, but I was on it probably 5 years ago.
So now they have about 15 ways you can call yourself, so it's kind of crazy, but yeah. So now we're going to move forward. So now we've got, the swipe, and you've got the back and forth. How do you feel as far as the next contact, the phone number? Would you prefer a woman say, hey, I want to take this offline, or give you her number? Or would you prefer to ask her for her phone number?
I don't think I have a preference either way, and I've had it happen both ways, where somebody will just say, hey, listen, I don't check the app much. I'm not on here all the time, which is always a nice thing to hear. I'm not on here all the time, and it'd be a lot better if we just texted. So here's my cell phone number. That's always nice because, A, she's really interested, and B, she's not checking the app every 5 minutes and going on 50 first dates.
So how long would you wait before, let's say a woman says, I'm not comfortable talking offline yet? How much time would you give it before you say, okay, I'm at a buffet and this entree is getting cold and I see a hot one right here on the right. Let me just move on down the buffet. How long would you wait before a woman was willing to, text you or give you her phone number or even have a chat with you?
Well, honestly, it's a free for all until you get to that first meeting. Like it's game on. You're talking to multiple people.
Right.
So, you're not going to necessarily wait for one or another. You're just going to keep chatting until somebody wants to meet for a date, and then you'll go out on a date. And if it works out, honestly, I prefer to be interacting with one person at a time. I don't like to interact with, a whole ton of people. I used to, we've all been through those times in your life where you're dating 3 or 4 people at the same time, and it's just pure hell, actually. It's a lot of work. And so, it's nice to just find one person to talk to, but it's usually that first date is where you say either, oh yeah, okay, I'm gonna not chat with these people as much, and I'm gonna just kind of hang with this one for a while.
Which is gonna lead us right into our next topic. So what makes that woman the one that you either say, no, I don't want to chat with her anymore, it's a one and done kind of first date, or I want to move forward with this and see how another date is and talk to her more. So I guess what I'm asking is, what do you look for, and what catches your eye in both directions? What catches your eye as far as, I'm going to stay away, and what catches your eye or your heart that says, I want to get to know this person a little bit more? Like some first date do's and don'ts for women.
I'll tell you, for me, Kathlyn, one thing that immediately is a no-go, and I'll never be back, is if she starts to talk badly about exes. And I've had that happen so many times. And as soon as I hear someone talking badly about exes, I think 2 things. A, they're not capable of taking responsibility for their own actions in a relationship. Or B, they're just going to be talking bad about everybody they've ever dated, and I will be the next person that they're just going to talk bad about.
Yeah, it is so funny that you say that, because I just had a conversation on my last episode about the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's a question. So there was a little bit of a, maybe I don't agree with that question type of conversation, but that's okay. I understand the perspective. However, one question I ask always, so tell me about your online, share with me your online dating. What has your experience been? And it's an open-ended question. And if I hear, oh, I went out with this lady, she was crazy, and this lady she didn't look like her picture.
Oh, I know.
I automatically know I'm done, like in my mind, no matter what you are or what you do, because I
have to be honest. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I feel like I'll be the next person you're talking about till the next person you go out with.
Yeah. So I'll be honest. I was a shitty first date for a while. I dated a girl who had borderline personality disorder. And so at the end of that 3-year relationship, I was super sure I was never going to go out with somebody who had that. And I would actually ask on the first date, I'd say, you don't have borderline personality disorder, do you?
I know why.
I didn't have second dates. There was a period of time while I was, finally I realized that's not something that you should ask somebody on the first date. You should just kind of figure it out, and you can. So I was a bad first date for a while. But that's something that, is just an immediate turnoff.
But talking about exes.
Yeah.
That's immediate turn off. Can you give maybe two or more?
Yeah. So talking about exes, being negative about your job. Like if they're bitching about their job on the first date, then it's kind of like, wow, you're not happy and you're not happy in that part of your life. Maybe you're not going to be happy with me or in dating, or maybe you're just not happy in general. I'm kind of a happy guy, and I'm kind of really focused on happy people.
Right.
Not that everybody's happy all the time, and neither am I, but for the most part, I'm a happy, positive person. That's who I want to hang out with.
Absolutely. I mean, yes. I mean, no one wants a Debbie Downer.
Right.
And maybe this person isn't a Debbie Downer. Maybe you just caught this lady who had a bad day at work, and you asked, and then she opens up Pandora's box. And so again, something to keep in mind, I think it should be really light and positive on the first date. Maybe, I don't know how you feel about super deep conversations on a very first date.
Oh my God. So have you ever heard of the 36 questions to fall in love?
No. I will now.
Oh my God. I love this as a first date activity. And I've done this many times. So 36 questions to fall in love. If you Google 36 questions to fall in love, New York Times, it comes up. A friend of mine told me about this 10 years ago anyway. And Kath is really awesome. A psychologist did a clinical study on intimacy. And he took 2 people, male, female, who had never met before, put them in the lab, and gave them 3 series of 12 questions that got progressively more intimate. And he measured intimacy at the beginning of the session, and he measured it at the end. And then 6 months later on a follow-up, he went out to see if they had continued in a relationship. And so these questions had a definitive impact on intimacy. So it's like a hack. Like you'll go on the first date and you will know absolutely if you would spend your life with this person that's sitting across the table from you.
Okay, so I would love to hear these questions, but I mean, do you take out like a questionnaire and
so I was in sales for 30 years. I'm still in sales now, right? So I'm a salesperson, so I have a process. So I say, so we're chatting, we're having a good date, and I will say, so Kathlyn, are you adventurous? And most people are going to say, well, yeah, I consider myself adventurous.
Depends.
And then I go in and I say, well, you know, my friend told me about these series of questions called 36 Questions to Fall in Love. It's a intimacy hack, whatever. Let's do it. What do you think? And I have had varying experiences. I've had some girls get 4 questions in and say, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. And I immediately know that's not a person that I will be interested in hanging around with. And then I have some that have gone all the way through the questions at the end. And the last thing that you do after the 36th question is you stare in each other's eyes for 4 minutes without talking.
Did you start laughing?
You do. No, you do. You absolutely always do, because you're so uncomfortable. You get that nervous laughter, right?
Yeah.
But then after that first like nervous laughter thing, holy cow, it can be magical.
Wow,
like I've had some great relationships come out of that 36 questions. I got to be honest.
So I would actually appreciate somebody that was taking that time to get to know me and ask a questionnaire. That's fun. I'm all about that. I've had people do, the first time I had heard of it years ago, somebody I had gone out with, that I met online, had me do the Briggs-Myers personality test, just compatibility. I love it. And it was awesome. Like, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, in a heartbeat. I found that out about me. I already know, ENFP. And then
there you go.
So then there's the 5 love languages. So I love to ask people, like, if we're dating, what do you know your love language, and talk about it. It's super important, and I don't want to sidetrack on questionnaires or anything. So,
oh my gosh, yeah.
So
but they're so powerful. They're so good.
They are, because you really learn a lot about, I'm super, again, cerebral. I like to talk. I like to really get to know on a deep level. So I love that. However, not everybody's like that. I do know that somebody that won't go there is not the right person for me. And that's okay, because there's plenty of fine.
No, it's not an indictment of who they are. It's just a recognition that it's not a fit for you two, right?
So that's
like somebody who's going to want to go deep.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's really interesting that you do that. So your thing is, so far, what I've heard you say, Mark, is that you like to kind of touch that deep level. You like somebody that's open and adventurous to the communication. And you also don't like negativity, and you don't like talking about exes. So they're basically like no second date.
No, I don't like talking about exes. I'll be honest. I think I'm friends with every ex except for one.
Well, do you think,
1 or 2,
which is great, do you think people ever need to talk about exes? Do you think it ever really matters?
It never matters. It never matters talking about an ex from the past. It just is not important.
It's so the past, but then sometimes you learn something about somebody based on, if they take accountability for their actions. I think that's important in a person, not knowing about the ex, but what did you learn? Is there anything not what did you learn, but is there anything that you learned from that relationship? You don't have to know details about the relationship, but I learned A, B, C, and D, and they've used that, that experience for personal growth, and it's really important.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so now you said what you don't want. So let's say you had a date lined up every night of the week, 7 of them, and maybe you had an event the next week that you wanted, a really special event. You want to take one woman. What could that one woman do to stand out, the one that you're going to take to that special event on that first date? Besides take your test.
Yeah, well, besides that, no. But that's a good question. On the first date, I don't know. There's got to be that chemistry. Like, I have actually had the conversation at the end of the date where someone, you get done with the date and you say, well, let's do this again, and you have to have the conversation. You have to be honest and say, listen, I'm a real fan of chemistry, and I just, you're great and wonderful. I just don't feel that there's any chemistry here. And it's true. They're wonderful human beings and great people. It's just, if there's no chemistry there in the initial date, then there's going to be no follow through. Like there's got to be.
So let's say you there was chemistry.
Yeah.
And you said to them, this was a wonderful date, and I'm really looking
Yeah.
forward to seeing you again.
Yeah.
Now, women, they don't know when, because they've been told so many different rules, I guess I would say. They've been given so many different rules of not answering the phone, not answering the text.
I know that. Yeah, I feel bad. You guys got so many rules. We have none. We're just like
rules. Yeah,
show up and don't put a fish photo on your profile. That's pretty much it.
Exactly. So, but what I'm saying is they don't know what the new norm is, or if there is.
Yeah.
So let's say that they have that date with that man and it goes really well, and they say they want to see him, and next day they don't hear from that man. They don't hear from him at all. Sometimes it happens, and then they start to wonder. Is there somebody else? Yeah, maybe they went on a date the next day and it was even better than you, or maybe they're just busy. But a lot of the times they just drop off the grid. So
ghosting.
Exactly, ghosting, which is something that I think is so rude. However, I've done it. Back in when I.
Yeah, I make it a firm policy to always close the loop.
Always a good idea.
Yeah, always close the loop, because I used to drop off the map, and it's just not. You're right. It's just rude. It's not a pleasant experience when it happens to you, and so I just make sure that I always close the loop. And the funny thing is, I just closed the loop on a girl last Wednesday, and then we went on a date on Saturday, and it was probably one of my top 5 best dates ever.
Well, see, and sometimes it's just giving that second chance. I really don't feel like you can really know somebody in one date or even 2. It's a little bit nerve-wracking, and it takes, you have to realize that both of you are coming in there not knowing each other. There's that a little bit of anxiety, maybe shyness. You're not really going to know that person on the very first date.
Especially now, Kathlyn. Now, with everything that's going on with the pandemic, everybody's emotions are at a heightened sense. Everybody's a little bit uneasy about what's going on in general in the world, right? So you got to factor that into this whole dating scene as well.
How many men do you think, and if you could just speak to who you know, and a lot of people, Mark, you're in a lot of different social networks, in your life, and with all the ventures you have on. What if you could give it a percentage? What percentage of men in our age group, over 50, over 40, do you think are? Because I'm talking to women specifically, over 40 mostly.
Right.
What percentage would you say are just out there trying to get as many as they can get? And are those the ones that are dropping off after the date? Are they just moving it forward? Or, how long is a woman supposed to wait before they X that person off the list? Or
I'll be honest, most of the people that I know that are out there that are dating are really looking for a relationship. So they're not looking for the hookup. I mean, they've got, friends with benefits already lined up. They don't need any more of those. They're looking for a relationship.
So if they had a good time, let's say they even gave a peck on the kiss goodnight, a hug, and said, what, and they had a great date, it felt mutual. When something's going well or not, you both. Because, I look forward to seeing you again, and they text you that night, and then the next day they're off the grid. What do you have to say about that? Because this happens frequently.
Yeah, it does happen frequently. There are so many different reasons, and some people aren't able to be honest and tell somebody at the end of the date, I thought it was great, but I'm probably not going to follow up. So they just say goodnight, give the kiss, and move on. And then
it's just
they don't have the guts or the courtesy to even respond back and say, hey, sorry.
So I would say, I would say, and you can correct me if I'm wrong from a man's perspective, but this is she says, he says, if I went on a date with somebody and it went well, we're not in a relationship, I would love to have a follow-up call the next day. But if I don't, I'm not going to trip on that too much. I'm going to say, okay, so let's give it a couple days. Maybe they're busy because we're not in a relationship. But if I don't hear, really any follow up for like 48 hours, not even a time frame, if I just feel inside, okay, that's not cool. Not even a hello, which isn't saying that you're getting married. It's just saying hello. It doesn't take
right.
text messaging. I delete the number. I just move on,
So
and
let me ask you this. Do you wait for the guy to contact you, or do you reach out to him?
It depends. I would say it just depends on the vibe of the whole situation. There's times, I'll always follow up with, thank you. I had such a great time if it was a great time, and, look forward to it. I wouldn't say always, but mostly. I'm not steadfast on waiting. However, I will send one message and only one message. Yeah. And I won't send another message if I don't hear back. And that's because no message is a message.
You're absolutely right. No message is the message. Yeah.
Is the message. Yeah, exactly. So then I tend to move on. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now we've gotten, through all this stuff. And, I know we've gotten through, interaction through the, finding a picture, looking at the other pictures, looking at the profile, reaching out, some back and forth conversation, a phone call, a meet, what we like on the first date and what we don't like, what we don't like on the first date. So, I would like you as a man who's been doing the online dating for quite some time to maybe, bring something up that's on your mind, maybe some advice for the ladies out there that are, getting back into this, later in life. Maybe it's their second or third time around. Maybe they just were busy with a career or other responsibilities. What do you have to say? What kind of advice would you give them to help them be successful?
I would say don't be worried about it being, right out of the gate, you want a committed relationship. Because that's what if I hear that on the first date, listen, I'm just looking to be in a committed relationship. That's what I'm looking for. Then, even though that might be on the table, totally might be on the table for me, I just don't want to talk about it on the first date. Like I'm just going out to have a good time, to get to know somebody. I don't want to talk about what the thing's going to look like right away.
Well, I'm going to challenge you on this one.
You can.
Because a lot of the dating sites will ask what you're looking for. You're looking for something casual. You're looking for friendship. You're looking for hangout person. You're looking for a long-term relationship. You're looking for marriage. So it gives you choices. And my opinion, I'm not going to say, I'm just looking to hang out. I'm not looking to hang out. I'm looking for a relationship. However, I'm not saying you're the relationship. It takes time. So my response is, ultimately I'm looking for, somebody to share the latter years of my life with, somebody that I have fun with every single day, that I love being with, even when we're doing nothing. I love my day with that person. So that's what I'm looking for. It doesn't mean you're that person because we went out. It means it takes time. You don't become that overnight. I say anything worth working for takes time. It takes time to build a relationship. It takes time to build up a retirement or a bank account. It takes time to get a college degree. And so it's not going to happen overnight, but I want you to know in the long term, that's where I'm going, because I'm not bouncing around like a boy in the ocean, just trying to, let me go here, let me go there. That's not where I'm at. So I feel it's honest, but you're saying that maybe that would scare people away.
I'm saying that it doesn't, that if it's going to go in that direction, it'll go in that direction without it even needing to be stated. Because you can say that and the guy can say, oh, great. Okay, let's go out on a few dates. Let's start a relationship. And in the end, it doesn't work out anyway, regardless of whether you stated that was your intent and purpose to begin with.
But it doesn't mean it's directed at that person. It just means in general, that's what it feels like. That's what it feels like. So you know what? That is a great piece of information. So really you should say, maybe take it so simple. I have to say what is going through my mind right now. I'm just looking for somebody to be nice to me.
Yeah.
That I enjoy spending time with.
Yeah. Exactly. And I'm saying on my end, Kathlyn, that it'll end up being what you both want it to be anyway. Because if you're interested enough and he's interested enough, you'll make whatever it is that it's going to be work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like that. This reminds me of a story. And the story is I actually interviewed a woman on my podcast. It wasn't related to dating, an amazing woman who's gone through so much adversity in her life. And she was homeless with a child at 17 years old on the streets of Philadelphia. And she had come from an abusive home. Really sad story. She got her nursing degree. That's how I met her, through nursing. Well, she's only 28 now. Well, she was nursing degree while she was on the streets. And so she was working in Philadelphia, the equivalent of a USC or UCLA here where I am in California, and as an LVN. And she had always found someone to watch her child while she did her shifts. And she didn't have anyone that night. So she went in crying to the nurse's station. And she said, they said, "What's wrong?" She said, "I'm going to leave here and I'm killing myself tonight. It just makes me cry every time I hear it." Like, she was done. Her life was too hard. Of course, they took care of her. They got her help. And she's now, oh my God, she's so successful. She has an organic skincare line that's, oh my gosh, she's a nurse. She's amazing. But the thing is, she said the only thing that got her through it, of course, she was placed on a hold, for her suicidal ideation. And she said she couldn't think big. And this reminds me of this. She just thought, what do I like? I like palm trees and I like sunshine. That simple. Moved her, well, I could go to Florida or I could go to California and start over. She ended up in California. But literally, we think so big and so down the road.
And we say it has to be this. Like, it has to be this or it's nothing.
Right.
So black and white. And you miss so many opportunities that way for things that could turn into the most amazing moments of your life.
So what I hear you saying is similar to what she's saying. Just keep it in the moment, be present, and just, what do you look for? I'm looking to have a really good time tonight. I'm looking to laugh. I'm looking to learn something about me. I'm looking to learn something about you, and getting home safely.
Gotta laugh.
Yeah, you gotta laugh. So I know in our next episode, Mark, and I'm thinking you're going to come back for a few. Can I get you to come back for a few?
Oh, I'd love to. So
I didn't even let you in more advice. I probably need to get more advice, but I think
hey, listen, this is great. I love the back and forth. You get so much great experience and in knowledge and in wisdom from being online dating.
That's why. Yes, and this is why I'm here. And I really did tell myself that every date when initially when I first started, when I was first out of so I had an 18-year marriage, over 18 years total with the person, almost 19. And when I had 2 teenage kids, when I got divorced, and that was a while ago, and just being the first time stepping out into that world was so scary. And, I had, I got to find somebody else, and just, I go into detail in my book about it, but in reality, I went full circle through my experiences to, I'm going out, I'm going to learn something about me. I'm going to learn something else. Someone's going to tell me something that I don't know. There's something else. And it became so much fun.
It can be fun, right?
Yeah, it's not that serious. It's a date. And so again, we talked about all these things, but I need you to share one of your best dates and one of your worst dates, and why, before we end the podcast today.
One of my best dates and worst dates. Oh my gosh.
What made it so wonderful?
Oh. Boy, that's a hard one. Boy, you put me on the spot. I've had a lot of great first dates. I really have. I had a lot of great first dates.
If you can't come up with one, it's okay.
Yeah, no. So I think one, I drove to Maine 4.5 hours, for a Valentine's date, blind date that was set up through a friend of mine.
Oh, wow.
I do crazy stuff like that. I was like, and I saw the girl's picture and I was like, I'll drive to Maine to meet this girl. And we did the 36 questions, and we had the most fabulous Valentine's Day date. Yeah, it was fabulous. Yep.
What made it fabulous?
We were just, she was just really super sweet and honest and able to articulate her emotions clearly. And she didn't shit all over an ex-husband. She, just said, well, just didn't work out. He's great. We're great. I'm great. The kids are fine. So it was good. It was a good positive, date.
The spontaneity, it sounds like it was very spontaneous it leads to a lot of time to no
I love spontaneity.
Yeah,
I really do.
Yeah, no, spontaneity is great. And I think it's really important that we, as women, unless we're really against it, if you're not spontaneous, try it, because it actually takes away expectations and anxiety. And it really helps you be just like, okay, it is what it is. It wasn't going to happen anyway. And you live more in the moment. And it's actually more, it's more enjoyable without any days of preparing.
So much fun.
Yeah. So that was your best date. I wonder if you've thought in your mind about your worst, and if you don't, that's fine.
I got set up with a friend of my cousin's, and I had met her before once, and we went out on a date and had dinner, and she was a lot of fun. But it was right after I was in my borderline personality disorder questionnaire period. And I asked her that question, and it pretty much ended the date. Shortly thereafter, it was like, wah, wah, wah. We got nothing to talk about now. And maybe she was, I don't know, but it was horrible. It was terrible.
Yeah, nothing too crazy.
Yeah.
So, and I'm going to step into some of those dates on the next conversation, as well as things like intimacy and, things to look out for, a few different topics on our next time together, which I'm happy to have you back, on our next week's podcast, Mark.
Would love to.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
And Mark, Nurse Mark, how do our viewers get a hold of you?
Well, you can get me on my website, nursemark with a K, .co. So it's www.nursemark.co. And I always answer pop-up chats, emails, whatever you want to do. I will happily connect with you.
Okay, so that means that you can reach out to Mark with questions as well, and we will address those.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody, and thank you again for tuning in to today's podcast, Swiping Over 40. If you like what you heard, go ahead and subscribe to my podcast channel. And ladies, I'm super excited because I do have a book coming out shortly, and it's titled Dating in a Fast Food World, The Girlfriend's Guide to Internet Dating, She Says, He Says. You're going to love it. It takes into account anything you can imagine that you might encounter while navigating through the online dating process. But not only does it have the input from a woman, it has the input from a man as well. So you'll get the inside scoop. You can also subscribe to my newsletter by going to Kathlyn.com. I look forward to hearing from each and every one of you, and may you all find love.